now we wait. So it looks like they're flooding in. Welcome, guys. We'll give you guys just a few minutes to let everybody jump on, and we'll get started here shortly. All right. Well, I think we have, it's about 2:01, and we know we have you guys for about an hour, so we want to make sure we take full advantage of the time that we have you guys here today. So I'm going to go ahead and let Natalie Urshinger, who may be familiar to a lot of you guys, kind of kick us off. So Natalie, you want to kind of kick things off for us?
Sure. Thanks, Kayla. My name is Natalie Urshinger, and I'm a Director of Finance at Baylor Scott & White Health. And today we are here to talk about an opportunity and a benefit for Baylor Scott & White Health with HFMA and our HFMA Enterprise membership. We're excited to present this information to you and this benefit to you. And we hope that you utilize the resources through HFMA and the resources and opportunities through the HFMA Lone Star chapter. So thank you for joining, and thank you, Kayla, for organizing, and all those of the Lone Star chapter. Appreciate it. I'm going to introduce our current president of our Lone Star chapter of HFMA, and that's George Fernandez. George, thank you for joining and helping us onboard our Baylor Scott & White team. So please make the introductions.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, Natalie, and please be careful on your drive. I wanted to welcome everybody. We have several folks on the line with us. Kayla Marsh is our membership chair. She's over Enterprise. She's one of our board members. We also have Marie Castro, who's our programs chair, and Jamie Walters is our secretary. Tawny Schaefer oversees our sponsorship. Justin is over communications. We have folks in the background with the Mars, and we'll also have Heather with our association, HFMA, that will be very involved in today's presentation. We certainly thank each and every one of you for being part of this, and we hope that you will find this very beneficial. We're somewhere in the, if I recall, 1,600 members and growing, and Kayla can certainly hit more on that. I'll let Kayla take it from here. She's got quite a few things that she'll tell us about in today's presentation. Thank you, Kayla.
Great. Thanks, George. So again, Jordan and Natalie both said it. Natalie forgot to mention that she was last year's president, and you know she has to have quite a bit of dedication to HFMA if she's calling us on her vacation or a drive from her vacation. So we're definitely excited. We know that management for you guys are excited to get you guys involved. And one of the things we want to make sure as a local chapter is that you have all the tools at your hand and understanding all the benefits that there are with a membership with HFMA. And so many of you, I saw quite a few names on the list that I've seen at plenty of events before, and some of you guys are very familiar with the way that HFMA has worked and has been involved in many years in the past. But there are some new changes and some new benefits that's come out in the past year or two. So what we want to do today is kind of give, you know, a highlight of what does HFMA look like today from a national perspective. And then we're going to talk about kind of some of the tips and tricks of what is online and what's available to you. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the local chapter. How do you get involved if you want to get involved, and what options are out there from a local standpoint. So we all also, I will say, you guys are our first group that we're going to present to. So what I ask is that if you have any questions at all throughout the presentation, please submit them through the chat box. They will be seen by everybody. if you submit it to the entire group, but you can submit it to all panelists and all attendees. And if we have time today, we'll try to cover those questions. If not, we'll be following up after the presentation with some content for you guys to help summarize what we went over and answer some of those questions. So please ask away. And with that, I'll go ahead and kick it off to Heather Hennessy, who's with the HFMA Association, to talk about HFMA from a national perspective. So thanks, Heather.
Thank you, Kate. Hi, y'all. It's nice to see you all in quotations. So I'm Heather Hennessy. I'm one of the account specialists for Enterprise. And my role, I'm here to answer any questions that come up along the way as you navigate your new benefits and help get the most out of your membership. My contact information and the Enterprise team's contact information will be found on a later slide. So let's get started. So going to the We Are HFMA slide, we've been around since 1946, and as you can see with the visual on this screen, we have our 3 circles, and the goal is to try to bring together professionals from all across the healthcare continuum to collaborate and deliver value. We want to make sure that HFMA is a critical component to your professional career as well. So I do want to say welcome to HFMA. We hope you find the resources you need to expand your career development, and our Enterprise membership continues to grow each month, and now for the first time ever, we have over 56,000 members. So we're so thankful for our members and their support as well. In our next slide, this is going to give you a snapshot view of our members by their career stage. So wherever you are in your career, in your stage in your career, we do have resources for you. So let's get, so then our next slide, going over our Enterprise member benefits and, that you have access to. So starting with chapter membership, of course, HFMA has 65 local chapters that are dedicated to providing you resources at the local level. Your address on file dictates your chapter, but you can change it via your profile at any time. And it's a great way to network at that local level. We have our HFM magazine. That's our flagship print publication. It's a monthly magazine, and it has industry trends and updates and so on. We've just launched a digital version of the magazine, and this is available on any app store or available on our website under topics. When you search the app store, you can find it under HFM magazine, and you can and you'll receive push notifications to let you know when the new issue is ready at the beginning of each month. And we also will send you an e-newsletter monthly to let you know that that issue is also available to remind you. But then, of course, you'll still receive your print publication as long as you didn't opt out of that print. We also have online education and certifications. So you'll have unlimited access to all of the education courses you see on our website, and I'll go into more detail in the next slide. We have an online community available, and it's a great way to connect with your peers too. And we have podcasts, one being the Voices of Healthcare, and in this podcast we talk about the movers and shakers in the industry, and they highlight the happenings in healthcare finance for you. We also have a second podcast series called Cup of Joe, and that's where our CEO, Joe Pfeiffer, interviews heavy hitters in the industry. So check out new podcasts on Wednesday, and you can listen to them from our website or on any podcast app. We have talent management and development tools, including HFMA's online career assessment, and then hfma.org. So that, of course, our website. We have industry-leading e-content and regulatory updates, including special reports, case studies, white papers, published exclusively for our members. Be sure to customize your experience too by clicking on the For You section, so you can create a page that shows content that is relevant for you. And then My Communication Preferences under your profile, where you can sign up for more newsletters and other communications from us. So we have many other channels too that you can interact with us, like our Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube channel. And then moving to our next slide here regarding the education. So coming back to this, again, unlimited access to everything you see here. So there's no limit to what you can take, and it's all available to you. So we offer webinars monthly, so we have over 50 annually. And if you missed the live one, you can catch the on-demand version for up to a year after. And we have new webinars added almost every week now, especially given the current times. Virtual is now more popular than ever, so keep checking back. We add them each week, it seems. So we also have our Business of Healthcare program. This is a great foundation for all staff, healthcare, finance, and non-finance. It's CPE, CE, and CME eligible, and it's also Module 1 of the CHFP certification. We then have our Patient Financial Communications program, which is a program for your frontline staff. It includes 3 courses, Advance of Service, Time of Service, and Emergency Department. And there are printable or downloadable job aids, and even a training program resources that are available for organizations that want to make this online program part of a larger training program. You can just let us know and we can send out a toolkit. We then have our patient access essentials, of course, for your patient access staff. That includes 4 courses: revenue cycle overview, customer service and patient satisfaction, importance of insurance verification, and a day in the life of a patient access superstar. And also includes printable and downloadable quick reference materials for you. We then have an e-learning catalog, formerly our E2 Learning, which it was called, but there's over 70 courses to choose from, and they cover a wide range of topic areas of healthcare finance. Moving to, so then we also have many certifications to suit different needs. We have our CRCR, which gives your frontline revenue cycle staff the insights they need to succeed in today's contemporary revenue cycle environment. Our CHFP, which provides a broad range of business and financial skills to your workforce. The CSBI, which strengthens the credibility of experts using data to make business decisions. The CSPPM, which arms anyone tasked with improving medical group practice operations. The CSMC, which reinforces the nuts and bolts of managed care issues as they relate to healthcare reform. And the CSAF, which recognizes expertise in financial reporting and statements for healthcare environments. We offer digital badging as well now. So when you complete an HFMA certification or certificate program, you'll earn a digital badge, and it'll contain metadata describing qualifications and credentials, including how you earn this achievement. You can place it in your email signature and your LinkedIn profile, et cetera. So a great way to showcase all that hard work you put into that certification. Going to our next slide regarding our community. So I wanted to give just show a little more detail about our community, because this is something rather new for HFMA. And we even just upgraded our platform this past year already. So this is a place to connect and communicate, of course, a place to communicate with other industry experts, facilitate meaningful conversations, and discuss best practices, sharing valuable resources and expertise. It's much like any other social media platform, and you can even receive curated daily or weekly digests and connect and follow members too. So it's a great way to, reach out to each other, provide guidance, or, ask questions and get answers from your peers. When you tapped out of maybe all resources internally, turn to our community and ask the question. And, there could be a member that we have, people will respond. So it's great to see those connections happening already. And then on the next slide, you'll see a few groups that we already have. So I would recommend even starting with the open forum that you see here. It's so it's just a general group, but of course you can see that we have other specialized groups too. I recommend updating your settings too, because you will get notifications as they happen, and we don't want to clog your email box. But, and even inside those groups too, there's even a list of more resources available. So we have, say our CFO forum, there's a library in there with even more resources available for you. Moving to our next slide, just to showcase some of the events that we have going on here. So our annual conference this year has already passed now, but we had 6 virtual events, 2 during each of the summer months. You can catch everything on demand if you haven't had a chance to view it live. And that was something new we did this year, of course, because we could not meet in person. We also have an upcoming digital revenue cycle conference. There is a fee associated with it, but there is a discount for our members, of course, and that is upcoming at the end of next month. So we also have a financial sustainability summit coming up, and then throughout the year we do have virtual conferences that we even had prior to COVID. So look out, because typically those are in fall and spring. So a great way to virtually attend, when we're not able to be in person each day. And then our next slide here is just showing you your additional resources, so who to reach out to. We have our Member Solutions Help Desk, esmember@hfma.org. So if you have any questions, having any issues logging in, etc., please reach out to that email address, and one of us will respond to you. Of course, my information is there as well, so you can always reach out to me directly. And then we have Vincent Lynn, our account executive, as well, if you are interested in enterprise. So, and that was it.
Thanks, Heather. A lot of great information there. Heather made some great points. And so a lot of that has to do with, of course, on a national perspective. So where Heather was talking about some of the national events, we'll talk about some of the local events that we're doing as well. We're in a very interesting dynamic, as I'm sure all of you can imagine, working through the virtual versus in person, but we'll definitely touch on that a little bit later. So the next thing I wanted to show is we have a significant portion of Baylor Scott & White employees that have been involved with HFMA for years, and so much so that they've worked their way into leadership positions as well. So there's a familiar face on the next slide that we thought we'd show a quick little video and let you guys hear from Bill Galinsky.
Good afternoon, I'm Bill Galinsky. I'm
oh no, oops.
a former president of the Lone Star chapter of HFMA, former now Region 9 regional executive. I've been in HFMA since 1991, but I really got involved in 2001 when I came to work at Scott & White in Temple, Texas. And HFMA for me has given me great opportunities for networking, for learning, both in formal presentations like we're at today here at Las Colinas Country Club, but also just learning from my connections and learning from my network and the people that I come in contact with as a result of HFMA. HFMA has been an outstanding development process in my career. It's given me opportunities to be a servant leader and to take things to the next level. And it has, and it's just built lifelong connections for me that I've got friends now from HFMA that I've known from all over the country, and I just really appreciate what HFMA has meant in my life and in my career.
So that was great to hear from Bill. Bill has really worked through, the gamut of HFMA. He's been a president. He's got many certifications, and now he has served also as one of our regional executives. So there's a lot that you can do with this organization. And I think, to kind of lead into our next section, I wanted to cover a little bit of, I think HFMA in the past has been all about in-person events. And with the way that the membership has now been structured is there's so many more benefits from a membership with HFMA than just attending a conference in person. I think a lot of you have probably done that before, but some of the things that we can really tap into is what certification and what type of education and CPE that you can get with your membership that you might not have been able to get before. So the first thing is, I think you guys have probably seen quite a few emails come by from TheraRhodes talking about enrolling and get everything set up. I did a quick look through the list of the participants today, and it looks like a vast majority of you guys are already enrolled. So I won't take up a ton of time talking about enrollment, but if you are having a hard time getting enrolled, or you have any issues, or you go back and check this stuff and you're having any problems, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We'll be following up with some of the content and some of the materials afterwards so you can follow up easily. So this slide here is just kind of showing enrollment. So one of the things is when you follow the email that came from Thera, this is the, let's pull this up real quick. This is the form that kind of runs through step by step of how to enroll. So going to the HFMA website, making sure that you're enrolling as an enterprise organization, filling out your information. And one of the key things to know is that when you fill out this portion with your email, if you fill it out with the Baylor Scott & White email, it will recognize that you are a Baylor Scott & White employee, and you will not have to do anything else, and it will assign you to an enterprise membership. If you use a personal email, then you'll have to identify what the enterprise key is, which is BSWH. And so that will go through and make sure that your membership is, one, aligned with Baylor Scott & White, and two, make sure that you don't have to pay. So that's the biggest thing, is Baylor has already covered the cost of all of these benefits from an organizational level. So if you get to a point that it's asking you to pay, make sure you take a step back. You can ask Thera, you can ask myself, or anybody from the HFMA Lone Star chapter. We can make sure that we can figure out and troubleshoot what may be going on. So once you have been able to enroll, the number one thing is really personalizing this membership. So how do you make it to where you're only seeing the things that you really care about seeing? So you may work in finance or budget, but you may not care too much about revenue cycles. So how do I make the things that show up on my homepage exactly what I want to see, and I don't have to sift through? So the next part, once you enroll, it'll ask you to update your profile and update some topics. And so I wanted to run through what you do. There is a short video that HFMA has provided us that runs through that. And so once you log in, this video is available on your membership page. So I thought we'd watch this really quick, and then I'm going to hit some more important things that I find outside of it to help you personalize. So we'll take a few minutes and watch this video, and we will chat shortly.
Hello, and welcome to HFMA. To help you make the most of your membership, we put together this quick tour. Let's get started. Take the first step and sign in to hfma.org. Your username is your primary email address. Next, click the icon in the top right of your screen and select My Profile to review your account information. From the My Profile page, take a moment to review the information we have on file. Confirm your email, mailing address, and other account details. For account security purposes, we highly recommend adding a recovery email address to your profile. Making changes is easy. Just select Edit Profile. From the left-hand side of the page, you can reset your password, review membership, access e-learning and CPE information, locate your chapter, find transaction history and receipts, and get founder point details. In addition, you can review messages, personalize the content you see on hfma.org, view notifications, articles, and items you favorited on hfma.org. You can also set your communication preferences and discover where you can earn rewards, including free dues for inviting colleagues to join HFMA. The top navigation of the homepage is where you can quickly find and access content. For You is the first step toward customizing your membership experience. By selecting topics of interest, you can create a custom HFMA homepage with articles, events, and other resources that align with your preferences. Find news, podcasts, articles, and other content under Topics. Industry Initiatives is a place to go for regulatory resources, white papers, and thought leadership materials. Career Development is where you select online learning, certifications, and webinars, all of which are included as part of your All Access membership. In Tools, select Peer Review as your credible source for products and services evaluated by users like you. Or check out the Buyer's Resource Guide, a full-service directory of industry suppliers. Need to measure and improve your revenue cycle performance? HFMA's MAP initiative can help. Upcoming conferences, webinars, and more can be found under the Events tab. Be sure to save the date for those events where registration is not yet open. And explore event websites for agendas, education, networking opportunities, and registration information. Online networking and collaboration has never been easier in the community. Join interactive problem-solving discussion groups and receive notifications of activity on your posts. And access the member directory to find new connections. You're now ready to navigate the HFMA website and make the most of your All Access membership. But if you ever have a question about our membership, don't hesitate to reach out to Member Services at 800-252-4362 or email inquiry@hfma.org.
All right, great. So there's some great stuff there, and you may wonder, hey, that video, how do I get back to it? I want to watch it one more time. So we can click to the next slide real quick. We are going to run through the website. So give you guys a couple of tips and tricks. They hit some high-level views of what's going on the website. And so what I thought I would say is here's some things that I found useful to do myself and some additional things that they may not have commented on. So once I sign in, it will take me still to the front page. Uh-oh. Here we go. And so to locate where they were, it's this little icon up in the top right corner. And so in this top right corner where this person is, I could put my picture in there. It's almost like a Facebook profile. So I can go to my profile. So if we want to know where do I find that video again, that's going to be found here on the profile. And so I can see right now, my profile personally is set up 84%. So there's a few things I could add to it to complete my profile, but that video that we just watched is right here on your My Profile page down at the bottom left. So if you want to be able to revisit that, that's where you can go to find it. So a couple of tips and tricks that I think would be good to know. So one, to make sure that you've got your enrollment appropriate and you are set up as an enterprise member. If you go to the My Membership tab, you will see that under this badge here, mine currently says Enterprise Business Partner. Yours is going to say Enterprise Professional Partner. So that is saying you have the right level of membership under Enterprise. If it doesn't say that, please reach out to us and we'll make sure that we have that set up appropriately for you. So a couple of things, the communication preferences, I think that's a great thing to look at. So I want to make sure, I get a lot of emails every single day and I want to make sure the emails I'm getting are the ones that I really want to see. And so for me personally, I like to get the HFM magazine. I want to know about virtual conferences, but you can go through and update these to identify specifically what you want. So, you know, I'm an accountant by day. I am not really focused on revenue cycle. So maybe I don't want to see revenue cycle, but somebody may want to see that. So I would suggest going in and tailoring your email preference. There's also the ability if you want paper mail or not. So I would suggest going in, setting up your mail preferences. And then what I would do is I would come through to your For You. So she hit it pretty quickly. But here, what this does is essentially tailors what the articles that you're going to see on your For You page. So you'll go through and you'll identify what you like. and what you want to see, and that will fix your For You page and gauge it towards, you know, articles that may be relevant to yourself. So the question is once I've gotten this For You set up, what if I see an article that I don't have time to read? So if you're scrolling through the next morning, and what you're going to see is these little boxes at the bottom that say save and share. So say there's an article that I liked that I want to share at some point, or I want to save and read later. If I click the save button, what it's going to do is it's going to save it to my profile. So clicking that save button will then now allow me to go back to my profile. And if I go to my favorites now, this 2020 is challenging us to reimagine integrated healthcare is now popping up right here. So this is a great way to save some of your favorites that you want to reference it later, if you want to read later or reference at a different date. So those were some great things to know. From a education perspective, that's the next big thing. How do I find CPE? How do I get education? There are things that the association on a national level provides in addition to our local chapter. So from an education, you're going to see various types of learning. Now, some of the in-person conferences, those are not going to be covered by your enterprise membership. So I do want to leave that as a caveat, but this is where you can go to find some of the CPE and things that are provided by the association. Some of the things that I also wanted to point out was career self-assessment. So one of the largest things that we want to cover in today is what are the things that are available to you under your enterprise membership that's going to help you personally. So, you know, this organization, this integration and this enterprise membership with Baylor Scott & White is not about Baylor Scott & White, it's about your career development as well. And so how can you personalize that and make yourself? So if you go to the career development tab, you're going to see different things like certification and learning paths. So a learning path is effectively saying, where do I stand today? What are some tools that HFMA can provide from a certification or a CPE standpoint that can improve those? And can I reassess it on a periodic basis? So you can go through and decide what learning path you want to go through, answer a step of questions, and it's going to provide different trainings that are going to be good for you and rate where you stand in each bucket. So you've got learning paths, and it goes through each of the different sections. The other thing is you're going to hear a lot about certification. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, but historically certification in HFMA till about a year or 2 years ago, you would have to pay significant amounts of money to get certain certifications. So I see a lot of CRs in my day. I see a lot of CHFPs. And so there's a different certification for different needs. And so from the certification standpoint, the CR used to be a $400 certification. That is now included within your membership. And there are different paths you can take. There are different specialization. And so that's effectively what these are. And this is something that's going to be a great tool. And I think you see a lot of your management that's going to have that at Baylor Scott & White. It's a great way to continue to build upon your own self-development and your career and something else that you can put on your resume in the long run. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to hand it off to Justin Flores, who actually has a certification himself. Justin has been involved with our chapter for quite some time. And so I thought, Justin's got a certification, he'd be the best person to speak to it. And so a couple of our questions that we wanted to run through, Justin, we had some questions laid up. So tell us what certification you got, and you know, kind of address why you did it, what it means, what it takes to keep up, and things like that.
Yeah, thanks, Kayla. Appreciate it. Also, I'm just really excited to see all of the Baylor Scott & White people that are on. It's nice to see some familiar names. I see Amanda Gale. I know that she's probably hating that I'm giving her a shout out. I see Bo Gately. I see Clayton Kolodziejczak. I'm super excited. But yeah, so I have a CHFP, and I got that about a year ago. It is the Certified Healthcare Financial Professional. And I think it is super important because I think that if you've ever, been entertaining getting another position within Baylor Scott & White, I think that you'll notice that the CHFP is something that you'll see quite frequently on job descriptions. And it's just an added bonus for a lot of the things that you already know. Like Kayla said, it's a great thing to be able to add to your resume. And it's a really good thing to be able to develop you professionally. And, you know, I know that Most of the people that I see on are operational finance. There's some corporate finance people on as well. But I think that, one thing that the CHFP kind of covers, there's the hospital portion of the test, the physician part of the test, as well as the health plan piece of the test, which, we have all those three things that kind of flow under the Baylor Scott and White umbrella. So it's something that, isn't super cumbersome when you take a look at the actual test, because, in your day-to-day work, you're dealing with one, if not more, of those issues. And I would say that because of that, it's a super easy thing to be able to just go and tack something onto that resume. What you should know before you start, the first part of the CHFP, which I feel that most of the people on would probably really benefit from, is I guess there's about 6 or 7 modules that are very, like I said, with y'all working in day-to-day finance, very easy type related questions. How does an inpatient claim pay? Well, it pays off the DRG and the Medicare world and other worlds. Or how, if you have a debit on the income statement, you have to have a credit on the balance sheet. So, very things that we think as real second nature is something that is a real benefit to know in the CHFP certification world. The commitment, not very long. I would say, I think it took me a couple of weeks to kind of wrap up, but it's something that I think is already proved valuable. I think that as a Baylor Scott and White employee, we might not see it day to day, but outside of Baylor Scott and White, people think that the CHFP is a super valuable certification, and it really does kind of speak to the volumes in which you know about healthcare. The certification, why I chose it, like I said, this part that we're talking to, or we're speaking to right now, is mostly, like I said, to operational and corporate finance people. So definitely you would probably benefit more from the CHFP. Like Kayla mentioned prior, the certifications are now lumped into your membership. So it's, kind of foolish to not take advantage of it. But I think that if you're in the corporate finance world and you wanted to kind of dive in a little bit to revenue cycle, that CRCR is another avenue that you could take. And there's also, I see some people, some people that are maybe in managed care or deal with contracts. There's also a managed care specialty, and I think that there's a lot of cool and neat things that the HFMA certifications provide now with our membership.
Thanks, Justin. I think you talked on it better than I ever could. We'll be sending out some information too. That's essentially a grid that goes through the different requirements for getting a certification, what it takes to upkeep it, how long it takes to get through it. The other thing is when you complete it, it may take some time to complete it, but it does count towards CPE. So you can get a large chunk of your CPE taken care from that as well. So this last little portion of the presentation, we wanted to talk about the local chapters. So you hear everybody occasionally talk about regions and local chapters. And so I wanted to kind of give you guys a picture of what that looks like. So the Texas area falls into Region 9. And so you can see it on this picture in this map here where Region 9 is. And we're part of the Lone Star chapter. So all of the hospitals within Baylor Scott at White, except for those possibly in the Round Rock and Austin area, are going to fall in that Lone Star chapter. And so you can see our chapter is very large. We've got about 1,600 people, one of the largest chapters in the country. We go as far west as El Paso, as far east as Tyler, north to the border, and south to Austin. So we've got a great chapter. We do events all over the state. And so what I wanted to do is hand it off to Jamie here in 1 second. One last thing that we'll show you is we've talked a lot about the association website. What we did want to show quickly is there is a Lone Star specific website. So when you're trying to identify what programs to go to and things like that, the Lone Star related, it's going to be lonestarhfma.org. And There's one more slide and one more bucket here that we have that's called Get Involved. If you're trying to figure out how do I get plugged in, even in this virtual setting, this is going to be where you go, is Get Involved. So I'm going to let Jamie talk for a little bit about the local chapter, and then we'll bring on some of our committee chairs as well to talk about their involvement and what opportunities there may be here. So Jamie, I will kick it back to you.
Okay, thank you. And really, it's so fantastic to see so many people on this video conference. So thank you. I'm Jamie Walters. I'm the board secretary this year. I've been an HFMA member since 2012, and I became heavily involved in 2015. Bill Galinsky got me very, very involved back then, and I can just share my testimony that it's been huge professionally, but also personally, to get to build relationships and know everyone. One thing I like to do, if you see the slide in front of you, we're going to briefly go over all the different committees for the Lone Star chapter. And then really want to go over our communication tools and some people that have really been involved. And what I'd love for you to keep in mind is as we go through all these committees, think about, what do you enjoy doing? What do you love to do? We have someone on our communication committee who is actually a photographer. So we always are looking for creative things, or maybe you're more analytical. So we really want you to get involved, and the time commitments, don't be afraid of that, right? Because there's so many of us that actually give our time that it's not huge. One thing that we do is the Lasso, and the Lasso is basically our online newsletter, if you will. You receive it via email, Twitter, and also LinkedIn. And you click on that, it opens up to upcoming events. Marie's gonna go over in more detail what we have going on this Thursday, and it's a don't miss event. It's very exciting. And then we also have a golf tournament coming up. Natalie was huge with this event last year. She invited all the past presidents, and it was really awesome to see everyone come together. So we're really happy that we brought that back. We also have a women's event each year. This year, since we really wanted it to be in person, it's going to be in February 2021. So fingers crossed that we can all be together. But I think that as we go through these, really keep in mind, what do you like to do? I think Justin did an amazing job going over the first section when it comes to certification. Can you imagine the cost savings, right? And it's so funny on LinkedIn. You see all these people popping up that are getting their certifications because it's really quite the perfect time to do that. And also previously, Chris Cuban has been instrumental with our chapter with helping communicate and leading the initiative and the committee for certification. So we really appreciate his involvement. So quickly, I'm gonna turn it over to Justin. So Justin can tell you a little bit about the communication committee.
And I'm back again. Yeah, so I am the chair for the communications committee, like Jamie just mentioned. A big thing right now, obviously we're all at home, and if you know me, I'm super social, and being at home has been really super hard for me, but we are plugging through anyway. The communications committee does a lot of different things. The biggest thing that we do is just provide communication to our members through the different platforms that we are on. Like Jamie mentioned, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn. Those are our two biggest presences that we have. So if you haven't already, please follow HFMA Lone Star. We'll definitely or connect with you, I should say. I said follow like I'm on Facebook. But big thing, connect with us on LinkedIn. There's tons of different posts that we post every single week regarding education opportunities and the events that we're having. So if you haven't already, connect with us, and we'll be super excited to see you at our events.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin. And if you guys see all those cool videos and all the fun postings, you know, that's really our, you know, obviously our communication committee. So next, I want to introduce you to Marie Castro. She has her committee, they have put together a phenomenal agenda for this Thursday. So Marie, I'm going to turn it over to you just to give a little high level over the programs committee in general to get people involved, but also about Thursday.
Thanks, Jamie. Hi, everyone. Just to echo everyone's thoughts, we're so excited to have Baylor Scott & White on as an enterprise member. We've loved getting to know all the different Baylor folks through HFMA, Natalie, George, Sarah, Justin, and Bill, and others. But I lead as Jamie said, I lead the Education Program Committee. And there's about 10 to 15 members that we have on our committee. And we are responsible for planning the education for the chapter. And that's about 15,000 hours of education that we provide. And our goal, again, is just to provide relevant, timely, and of course, affordable education. Typically, we have, every year we do 2 big events, and it's our summer and our winter conference. And of course, they're usually in-person events. But kicking off this Thursday, August 27th, we're having our first virtual conference. So our summer conference is going to be virtual. And if you haven't seen, seen the registration link in the lasso or the agenda, I encourage you to go out to the website where Kayla was showing you and click around. You can go to events. And again, it's free registration for all providers. And it's just a fantastic lineup, as Jamie said. We're so, so excited and fortunate that we're having Dr. Arugula, your Chief Medical Officer, and your Janice Walker, your Chief Nursing Officer. They're doing a session for us, and we're just ecstatic about it. We've always had fantastic support from Baylor. At our last winter conference, we had Dr. Johannesson. She came and gave an awesome session on uterine transplants. And then we also had Penny Surmart on the CFO panel, which was fabulous. So we get a lot of interaction. We're so thankful for Baylor's support and everything. But again, it's 7 hours of free CPE. I encourage you to please go out there and register. One last thing, and I'll be quiet. The great part about it is that if you can't fit in 7 hours of session at your computer, every session is going to be a separate link. So you can pop in and out, take a look at the agenda, and just pop in and out as you can, or as you can fit it into your calendar. But again, no harm or foul, just go out and register. It's free. And so we really hope that you can join us Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. Did y'all hear that? It's free? Awesome. So please join. And we do realize you have a busy schedule, right? And so I love the fact that we designed it where you can pop in and out and attend sessions where you can fit it into your day. Also, after the conference, we're going to have a really fun virtual networking opportunity. And so those, I'm sure you've attended them before, but we're doing our best to really make sure we're building the relationships, and we're going to have some amazing prizes as well. So please join us. One other panel is we're going to have THR, Christus, Texas Tech Physician, Cook Children's. So it's really cool to see all these different peers coming together for this great education event. So next, quickly, Kayla, I'm just going to give it to you for a moment to talk about membership. I mean, clearly, it's pretty obvious. Thank you.
I care about the members. That's what I do. No, my name is Kayla Marr. So I've been involved with HMA probably, oh God, how long have I been working? Probably about 7 years at this point. I've been the membership chair for the past 2 years. And so, from a membership standpoint, I used to call us the greeting crew. So I just want to make sure that anybody that walks in is always welcomed and happy. And so in a virtual setting, that's changed a lot. So now it's really just engaging with members and making sure they're aware of all the things virtually that we have on hand. And I'm really excited and really happy to see everything that HMA has done in the past few years from the enterprise standpoint and the certification. So, from a membership standpoint, it's really just outreach to members, helping with onboarding presentations. We've got a ton of systems that are joining our Lone Star chapter on the provider side. So we've got THR, we've got now Baylor Scott and White, we have a large collective of hospitals all across Texas. So we're doing onboarding presentations and things like this. And so it's really great to be able to get some exposure and meet some people across the state that may have a different perspective from you. So that's the membership pitch.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love what she says, because we're a family. George is so wonderful as our president because he truly believes in family, and this is our work family. This is our volunteer family, and we are Texas. So when you come to our events, you're going to be greeted. You are going to be welcomed with open arms. The next The next committee I love, near and dear to my heart, is the mentorship and early careerist. What we like to do is we do speed mentoring events. It's kind of like speed dating, but it's with mentors, and we have leaders from the large healthcare systems. I mean, you know, when I was early in my career, what I wouldn't give to sit across from a CEO or a VP and say, hey, what should I do in my career? What's next? And build those relationships. So really encourage you, especially if you're early in your career, to get involved. We have a great lineup of mentors ready to be there for you. When you go to our website, you can actually click down to see if you want to be part of that mentor-mentee program that we have going on. Because in reality, the young people or the people new in their career, they're the future leaders, and we want to make sure that HFMA continues to grow and become more robust, and we can't do that without you. So I really, really love the mentorship and early careers program. Next, social events. So what's been fantastic, and you know, when Natalie was president, it was wonderful, and Thera was so involved. We did volunteer opportunities at the different food banks, whether it was in the Temple Waco area to Fort Worth and Dallas. It was like all hands on deck for one day, and it was huge. And we had the opportunity to go volunteer at the food banks. Obviously, right now, we're trying to do more virtual opportunities when it comes to networking, like we mentioned on Thursday afternoon. But in the past, we've done things at, you know, Marie hosted a networking at Magnolia in Waco. How cool is that? We've done events at Top Golf. So if you're social and you like to do things like that, we welcome you to join our social committee. It's actually quite fun, and we're always looking for new ideas. So next, I would like to introduce Tawny Schaefer. She's going to tell you a little bit about our sponsorship committee. Tawny?
Thank you, Jamie. Hi, everybody. It's great to see you all. And I chair the Lone Star Sponsorship Committee, and I'm co-chair of the Texas State HFMA Sponsorship Committee. And the Sponsorship Committee is made up of, we've got 5 people on the committee for state and 2 for the Lone Star chapter. And really, this committee is the committee that makes sure that the education is affordable for everybody. Our sponsors help pay for all of these events. And also, we're trying to find ways to match providers and sponsors a little bit better by providing better information. So we're trying to put together a comprehensive list of all of our sponsors and vendors and the information or the services that they provide to the healthcare providers, so that the providers have an easy way to go find those vendors that maybe they're looking for particular services. In the event on Thursday, we're going to have a virtual exhibit hall for some of our sponsors to really showcase their companies and their services. They're giving away cool giveaways. So there's some great gift card giveaways. There's a purse that's being given away, some really cool gifts, and it gives you an opportunity to meet these vendors in a different setting since we're doing everything virtual. It really is a great committee, and we're always looking for ideas and ways to provide value to both the providers and the vendors in HFMA. So when you get those surveys after every event, please make sure you give us your feedback so that we can take that feedback and tailor our programs to make sure that we're adding value to everybody in the organization. And if anybody's interested in being part of a committee that asks people for money, we would love to have you join our committee. So just reach out to Kayla or let me know if you're interested in being a part of our committee.
Thanks, Tawny. You got right to the chase, right? We appreciate it. Next is our volunteer committee. And what's really great about that, I don't think we really touched on it, but anytime you volunteer, whether you are participating in a committee, whether you're chairing one, whatever that is, you earn points with HFMA. And when you accumulate a certain amount of points, you can win awards. Proactively simply go out there and seek volunteers, talk to people like we're doing right now. What do you like to do, and where can you be most helpful? But before I turn it back over to Kayla, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to present to you guys. I know that Baylor Scott and White has won the MAP award for several years. But George, I didn't know if you wanted to say one quick thing before we turn it over to Kayla to answer some open questions.
Now, again, we certainly appreciate it. You can see all the folks on here are volunteers, and we certainly couldn't continue the tradition that we have here at Lone Star without them. Many of you, I'm sure, are wondering how you might get involved. So fortunately, if you heard something in the last several minutes that interests you, please reach out to any of us, and we'll make sure to contact the appropriate chair for that area. I know I've been a member since 1983, and I've been in all 3 Texas state chapters. I started on the provider side, and now I'm on the vendor consulting side. And it's been a real big help to me, as you heard Bill Galensky earlier. For those who are trying to move up in management, it allows you to practice your managerial skills in a safe environment, so to speak, because it's volunteer, and getting some of that cross-functional management type of experience. At least it's been important to me in my career. Kayla, it's all yours.
So to bring it home, I appreciate all of your time today. I know an hour may seem like a short time, but I know it can be hard to find in a day, especially where we live today. So what you can expect to follow from this is there will be a survey with some questions. Please answer that and give us any feedback that you can. We want to make sure we can take whatever you can give to us and apply it in the future and learn from it. Also from here, what you'll see, we keep saying reach out to us. I'll be following up with the entire group with some content, some summary and overview of what we talked about today, some information regarding the Lone Star chapter and the contacts of those that were on the call. But otherwise, I appreciate all of your time, and we are so happy that Baylor Scott and White has decided to join us with an enterprise membership. So if there's anything we can do to help make your membership better or make it more beneficial in the long run, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, and have a great week. Thank you all.